Hello everyone, my name is Bruna and I am the project lead of the Global Cooperation Project. This presentation aims to provide all potential and current collaborators with an overview of the project, our responsibilities, and the project timeline. The Global Cooperation Project is supported by the National Institute of Science and Technology on Social and Affective Neuroscience, CNPq Brazil, and I am a fellow by the São Paulo Research Foundation. To start off, what's our goal? We aim to test interventions designed to reduce polarization and ideally to promote cooperation in a cross-cultural study. To give you all a bit of background on the idea behind the project, we know that affective polarization refers to the tendency of a group to view itself positively while perceiving the opposing group negatively, increasing social distance between them. Given its intrinsic link to social identity, polarization can fuel intergroup conflicts, making it crucial to find ways to mitigate these divisions. Research has shown that interventions such as in-group contact can be effective in reducing prejudice and anxiety, while also improving social cohesion and reducing social distance between groups. Additionally, a mega-study led by Voelkel and Professor Rob Wheeler's team tested 25 interventions aimed at reducing anti-democratic attitudes and partisan animosity, a key aspect of affective polarization. In this study, they found that several interventions using different mechanisms and formats, such as text or videos, were effective in reducing partisan animosity. Building on these findings, we selected 4 interventions from the original study to investigate whether they can produce cross-cultural effects on behavior measures of cooperation, polarization, social distance, and interconnectedness, as well as the role of individual characteristics in these processes. To achieve this, we plan to adapt these interventions from the original study into rigorous and highly controlled instruments aimed at fostering cooperation between polarized individuals. Given the variability in cooperative behaviors and the influence of socioeconomic, cultural, and political factors across countries, our study adopts a cross-cultural approach to assess these effects. Note that all methodological details can change upon thoughtful consideration from the head PI team, representing the methods that we have developed in the conception of this project. We selected 4 interventions tested in Voelkel mega study. Why these interventions? We base our selection on 3 key criteria. 1. Strong performance in the original study. 2. Reproducibility across different cultural contexts. And 3. Agreement from the original authors to collaborate with us. The selected interventions each target distinct psychological mechanisms that may help bridge ideological divides and enhance cooperation. The first intervention is civility storytelling personal narratives. This is a video-based intervention that relies on emotional empathy. It presents personal stories that aim to create an emotional connection with the viewers. By fostering emotional empathy, we hope to reduce polarization and enhance cooperation by making individuals feel more connected to those with different perspectives. Next, we have correcting division misperceptions, another video intervention. This intervention works by addressing consensus bias, the common misperception that opposing groups are more extreme than they actually are. By correcting these misperceptions, we aim to reduce perceived polarization and increase openness to dialogue and cooperation. Our third intervention is the common national identity, a text-based intervention that targets social identity. These interventions emphasize a shared national identity, reinforcing the idea that despite ideological differences, individuals belong to the same larger group. Research suggests that highlighting an in-group identity can foster cooperation and reduce social distance. Finally, we have utility of out-party empathy, another text-based intervention. Unlike the first empathy-focused intervention, which is based on emotional empathy, this one promotes cognitive empathy. The idea is that understanding the opposing side's perspective can be a strategic tool 4, persuasion and dialogue, encourage individuals to engage more constructively rather than react defensively. How do we plan to adapt these interventions? Well, the main challenge in the adaptation lies on the 2 video interventions. We're planning a pilot study to determine the best way to adapt the interventions in a cultural, sensitive, and reproducible manner across all participating countries. For now, we intend to collect data in this pilot study in both Brazil and in the US, primarily for logistical and financial reasons. But please note that this plan may change due to unforeseen circumstances. Our main goal is to explore whether with the video-based interventions we can effectively adapt them into text-based formats, making them easier to adapt across different cultural contexts. For dependent variables, we selected 5 measures to capture both polarization and cooperation. Cooperation will be assessed using the public goods game and the prisoner's dilemma, 2 classical dilemmas that allow us to measure cooperative behavior toward group or individual, respectively. Polarization will be evaluated through feelings thermometer, which assess how warm or cold someone feels toward individuals from the opposing political group. Additionally, we will measure social distance, and finally interconnectedness using inclusion of the other in the self scale to capture perceived closeness or separation between individuals with different political views. For independent variables, so far we have socioeconomics, open-mindedness, moral identity, morality as cooperation, Schwartz-basic human values, social value orientation, and collective narcissism. For country-level predictors, we are planning to use Gini Index, Human Development Index, Democracy Index, GDP per capita, and cultural dimensions of individualism and collectivism. Let's take a moment to talk about the bureaucratic aspects of the project. We kindly ask all collaborators to complete the collaboration agreement and the credit self-report form. Before we move forward, I want to briefly explain why the collaboration agreement is so important for the success of this project. Well, 1, it ensures transparency and accountability. It sets clear expectations and responsibilities for everyone involved, which help us build trust and maintain consistency throughout the project. 2, formalizes roles and contributions. It allows us to acknowledge each person's role to ensure that all contributors are fairly recognized. 3, ethical and compliance and data security. This agreement ensures that all collaborators are committed to following ethical standards and protecting participants' data. 4, establishes authorship guidelines. It defines how contributors will be credited in our publications, helping avoid future misunderstandings. And finally, facilitates project coordination. It helps us move forward in an organized way by ensuring that only those who have officially joined the project continue on to the next phases. Now I'd like to talk briefly about the responsibilities of our organizational team, which we will refer as the head PI team. Our main goal is to make sure the project runs smoothly across all participating countries, and to do so, we take on a few key responsibilities. 1 is the study design oversight. We are in charge of developing the study protocol, designing the interventions, and outlining the full analysis plan to ensure consistency across all sites. 2, data management. Our team will handle all data storage system, making sure that data is stored securely, remains intact, and is accessible in a structured and ethical way for analysis. 3, authorship and recognition. We are also responsible for ensuring that all contributors are properly recognized, following the authorship guidelines outlined in our collaboration agreement and general manual. 4, communication and support. We will make sure that collaborators have everything they need, from regular updates to technical and procedural support, helping to coordinate all phases of the project. Now let's talk about the key responsibilities that each collaborator agrees to when joining the Global Cooperation Project. These are essential for maintaining quality, consistency, and scientific integrity across all countries. For data collection and translation, contributors are responsible for collecting and/or translating materials when necessary. It is important to follow the study protocol closely and report any deviations you might encounter during the process. Ethical compliance. Each collaborator must obtain ethical approval in their local context and make sure to comply with national and institutional regulations. For documentation, we ask that all contributions be accurately reported using the GCP contribution reporting form. This ensures transparency and fair credit for everyone involved. And for review and feedback, please take the time to review all project documents carefully. Your feedback is crucial to improve the materials and adapt them when needed, especially for cultural sensitivity. And finally, we ask that all collaborators respect our open science practices. That means supporting data sharing policies and giving proper credit to the original study in any secondary analysis. To officially join the Global Cooperation Project, all collaborators must sign the collaboration agreement. That includes not only principal investigators, but also research assistants and master's or PhD students who will contribute to translation or data collection. To access the form, you can use the QR code on the screen or the link you received by email. Please make sure to complete it as soon as possible so we can move forward in the next steps of the project. If you have someone in your team who haven't signed up yet, please ask them to do so. Finally, let's talk about the timeline for the project. Right now, we're wrapping up the collaboration agreement sign-up phase and planning our pilot study. This pilot will help us to test and refine the materials and conditions necessary to adapt the selected interventions across different cultures. Once this phase is complete, we'll move on to gathering your feedback on the selected instruments and the manuscript for our register report submission. Our first target journal for submission is Nature. After that, we will begin the adaptation and translation of the materials, followed by data collection across all participating countries. We'll keep you updated at each step so everyone knows exactly where we are in the process and what's coming next. Our website will be our main communication channel along with our mailing list, so please make sure to check it regularly for updates and important information. Note that all publications and materials derived from this project must include the following acknowledgement. The Global Cooperation Project is supported by the National Institute of Science and Technology on Social and Affective Neuroscience, CNPq, Brazil, and must display the grant number that's on your screen. This information is also present in both the General Manual and Collaboration Agreement for this project. We would like to thank the funding agencies that support this work, in addition to the Social and Cognitive Neuroscience Lab of Mackenzie Presbyterian University. We would also like to thank Professor Rob Wheeler for this contribution on the early development stages of this project. Thank you all for the interest in collaborating on this project. Please feel free to reach out via email, and don't forget to sign up to officially join the project. We are excited to work together and build something meaningful globally and together. Thank you so much.